But let's get into the cool stuff. I started out by getting into the content marketing tab of SE ranking. If you've got it, go there and start working through it. One of the things was a media finder or an idea finder. And I use that to find out what other things are available. You can use this with just a general term and see what else is out there in a broad sense, or you can use a very specific term. I use the term digital media literacy. And I can see different clusters, but I can also see different phrases and words that people are using. Now, if you're a more visual person, you might like this. You might like the mind map of showing all the different cluster ideas. Now, I find the idea finder works really, really well if you are looking for something like a broad term and you want to see what are some of the subtopics around it. It also worked really well for this, where it's a very niche topic, but you could also see the very specific areas where it branches out. So the idea finder is a great way just to start that project. Maybe you're sitting there wondering what to write for the next month or two. This will give you some great ideas. But then you can go into the content editor. And the content editor is where you start developing your copywriting project. I love this because even if you never use the AI, if you use the step-by-step instructions and hand it off to a copywriter, you're going to have better results. Because what this is going to do is help you organize and develop a clear thought process and a clear goal as to what you want this article or this content to reflect. So we're going to start out with some primary keywords, select the search engine, create an article name, and then any other additional settings such as URLs or anything like that that you want to put in from your site as well as from a competitor website. Now, as you can see, I'm putting in digital and media literacy. I'm naming the article, and then I start going through the article creation process. Now, one of the first things that it does is it will bring up the competitors for those terms. And I love this because what this is going to show are other high-ranking domains that are competitive for those keywords, but also you can select which ones you want to evaluate. At this stage, I'm going and I'm looking at each of these competitors. I want to see what type of content is on the site. A couple of these were educational sites where they were showing a curriculum. And so it wasn't too relevant to what we wanted to produce. And another was an actual study, but it was limited information. So from here, you can pick and choose which competitors you want to draw from in their content. And that is just a fantastic way of digging in and seeing, this is such a critical part of content marketing, is when you evaluate competitors to see what is their strategy. Are they going for a certain type of content strategy? Are they doing webinars? Are they doing research papers with original research? Are they just writing articles? Go and look at your other competitors to see what type of strategy of content they're developing and how it's working for them. And you can get all of that reporting within the SE ranking. Then you build your content parameters. What's the word count? How many headings? How many paragraphs? How many images? Like I said, this is just a great brief to put together. And even if you're giving it to a human, it's going to provide very specific instructions. Then we're going to list all the keywords that we want to put into the article. And you can pick and choose, select, deselect which ones you want. You can see what the search volume is on some of these. And so you can go more long tail terms if you want, or you can stay within the primary short tail terms. If you're using long tail, you're going to hit the short tail as well. Then links. And this is fantastic because SE ranking will go out and find resources that you can link to in the article. And so from here, you can say, I want this link. I want this one. So you can see here that there is one which is a news literacy project with great resources. And so We added that in. An article on cognitive dissonance, which is fantastic for media literacy. And then common sense education, change in behavior. And so from here, you can look to see what are great resources that you can link out to that provide helpful educational links in your article. Then questions. And now these are pulled from the people also ask in the search results. They are questions from competitor websites. They are questions that come up in the keyword research. And so by pulling all of these sources together, you're getting a great view of questions people ask in this area. And so it's great because it may cover content that you didn't think of. So getting all of those different areas, different sources, it helps to bring down now, what am I going to address in this article and what am I not going to address? And these are also great ideas to put off for later. That I think would probably be my main suggestion here, especially in this question area, is if I'm not going to address it in this article, I want to do it in a future article because there's great ideas in the questions. And then content structure. You can start by adding your own headings. You can look to see the headings on the competitor websites. And then also you can generate with AI. So you've got 3 choices throughout as you do this in building it yourself, looking to see what competitors are doing and bringing those in, or using AI. And so I've used all 3, and I can tell you my experiences with all 3, but it has been really just a fun to do. Then you build out your content structure. So here you can see we're looking at competitors' headings. And so from here, you can start to organize your article based on the headings you want, the headings that you're pulling from competitors. You can add on the right side there which ones you want in your article, and you can add some of your own. And so from here, you're starting to build that structure of the article and how it's going to flow. Then the content structure, you can start, this is if you're doing it on your own, you can add, or this is the AI writer, where you can see the suggested headings on the right side there, and you can see they're all H1 tags. What are we going to name this? And then also you can put in keywords, the tone of voice that you want to write with. Then if this is going to a human writer or editor, you can put in metadata for additional instructions, for additional help and requirements as to what you want out of the article. So if you don't want to use all of AI, but you mainly want to use mostly human written content, this is the way to do it. You can come up with your structure, your outline of the article, and then provide instructions to the human writer. Here's what I want it to go. Here's the title requirements, descriptions. Here's everything that I want in the article. And then you end up with a great brief that you can put in front of a human writer. So we're now at the article area. We've gone through all the steps. And again, you have 3 ways to go about this. Option 1 is you can click the purple link there and get the one-click article. And I like to say that's about 98% AI, because you've filled in what type of topics you want to address. You've done the brief part, and now AI is going to take it and run. And so from there, you will get the AI-based article. Now, my experience with this is if I'm too broad in a search term, like a very popular, very broad. For example, I tried this with the word branding, and to write an article about branding. When I gave this to the AI, what I got was a very general article. And so think about that from that standpoint, that if you're using a very broad, short tail term, you're going to get a very generalized article. When I did something very specific, such as digital and media literacy, it was much more detailed. There's more nuance. And so I felt the quality of the article was even higher because it was focused around a very specific, tightly focused area of content. So that's just what I've seen from the AI and how it works through there. So you can just generate the article based on what you've created at that point. Option two is you use all the headlines and you can arrange them, fill them out. It's already got markup in it. This is what I say is if I'm going to create the structure and then hand it off to a writer. Now, this, I love this, and I wish I'd had this many, many years ago when I had my agency, because there's always that conflict in between SEOs and copywriters. Some of you may have dealt with this, that you're an SEO, you know what words need to be there, but there's also copywriters. And this is what they do for a living. And they may understand the company or the product because they may be internal. And so there's always been a little bit of frustration in between SEOs and copywriters. This would have alleviated so many of those problems when you could put together a clear structure. Here's the keywords we're going to use. Here's the word count. Here's how many headings. Here's how many paragraphs. And it just defines, and then you hand it off to the copywriter, and all they can do is just do their work. So you can go like 99% AI, or you can do about 90% human and work from there. I loved option three, which is the AI writer wizard. And from there, you define your terms, your headings, the outline, the talking points, which I thought were fantastic addition here, that you can write in the talking points that you want. You can remove the ones that you don't want. You can edit the terms that are there. So essentially what's happening is the AI is taking that outline to the next step. You've got your outline, but with the talking points, it is much more specific. And like I said, the more specific it is in subject matter, the better the content is going to be. And so this, I like to say, is about 60% AI, about 40% human, because you're guiding the process. And then ultimately you get your article. And this is what I got here. The key takeaways, I love it. The images are already there, just ready for you to populate. And everything that I wanted in that article is very clear. The markup is there, so you can take that immediately and go publish it once you've got those images in there. You've got a good content score. I love how it's measuring as you go throughout everything. And even as you're editing the article, the content score is going to keep updating. It's going to keep an idea or keep a count of how many keywords are in there. Just a fantastic way of working with the AI to get the content that you need.